I don't think I
I had to turn you up. See, I have the power over your voice here.
There you go.
Do you like my baseball cap look?
Well, I didn't quite know what was going on when I came up, but I thought we'd get to it.
Well, the reason is that I love the new lights, but they glare. Aren't they glaring in your glasses too?
Yeah, but I got bigger things to worry about down there.
Okay, well, I have to write things down during the game. You just walk up and down the court and yell at people.
You're right. That's it. That's what I do.
I think teams get better when they play really hard physical games, and I think you would agree tonight was a very hard physical game.
Yeah, and we scheduled it for that reason. I mean, that's why we got them, and we got them twice. Coach gets them to play at that level that you need to play. I don't know what we got our goals down here for. Our guys come out and shoot some free throws. We're going to get them up, I guess. But I lost my train of thought. No, we schedule teams like that best we can. We want these games. We're not playing, somebody we think we're going to walk over. And tonight, you look up and everybody thought maybe Vol State wasn't that heavy of a competition. Well, they beat Lincoln Trail today. So we're not scheduling anybody that we don't think is pretty good, including what's coming up Tuesday at Macomb.
We'll talk about them in a minute, but, they were 30-6 a year ago. So we started the game out, and you knew that Columbia State would come out really super aggressive. And at the end of the first half, they had taken 24 free throws, and we had taken 2. I'll let you go from there.
I think we have to be one of the 2 or 3 best programs in the history of junior college basketball. So if you had Kentucky and Kansas, let's say, or Indiana, or Duke, how many times in the history have somebody pressed them from tip to horn, and it was 24 free throws or 2 at the half, and Kentucky or Kansas, whatever, was ahead, which means we must not be, the other team's just a lot better than we are. So that's what I'll say to that.
Okay. But we came out in the second half. I thought the three-point basket by Callaway at the buzzer was a big emotional lift going to the locker room. But they challenged us in the second half as well.
Well, they're a good team. They're strong. They're hard to play early in the year because they're just going to relentlessly attack you. And, it's hard. You're trying to run your stuff early in the year against somebody that does that. It's really difficult. It's difficult any time of year. That's why they were at Hutch last year. There's only 24 teams that make it. They're one of them, and I think they'll be in a position to be one of the teams in Tennessee could do it again. Last night, as I said, and it's taking nothing away from Lincoln Trail. I think Lincoln Trail's got a nice team, and their backcourt was really good, and Coach had a great game plan. But, they were a little, that first game, it's not much atmosphere in here, kind of deal, and I think they probably were looking to this game, and then Lincoln Trail made them pay. But we knew tonight they would come in here, a little bit of a caged animal kind of deal. And that's what we got. We got exactly what I thought we'd get. I didn't think we would shoot 2 free throws and they'd shoot 24 in the first half. But, and if you told me that happened, I wouldn't have told you we'd been up 6. But we did. Guys persevered. It's good for them. It's good for them. Right now, I'm pushing them. Guys may not understand this, and I've told our guys this. Early in the season especially, I got to try to push them because I've got to teach them the intensity level. They don't know the intensity level. They want to. We got a good bunch of guys. They don't know the intensity level that it takes to be that team that wins an Elite Eight game, a Final Four game, a national championship game. That's a whole different gear, right? So I'll challenge them a lot right here because I'm trying to teach them that this is the edge. You got to get to this, right? You got to match my intensity right here. And so I've got to teach that just as much as I've got to teach how to run an offense or where we're supposed to be on the defense. Or it's all part of it if you really intend on getting there. So it's just part of the educational process. So I thought tonight was really good for us. We go through a lot of things in there. Tough. Sometimes it's going to be tough when you come to that sideline. Sometimes it's tough on that floor. Sometimes the official's not blowing that whistle like you want, right? They're big. They're strong. They're hitting you. It's a constant grind. And you're also learning we get up 9 or 10 or 11 or 12, and you'll find out, hey, it's going to get tougher when you do. The other team now, they know they got to stand up now. So I think it's a really good for us, but we'll see how much we learn from it.
We hurt them from all over the place. 5 players in double figures led by Jalen Callaway. I thought he had a really nice ball game. Scored 18 to lead us in scoring. Williams had 17, and Vassar also scored 17. So, we had some combinations out there, the points on the board. I was especially encouraged by Callaway's 18 points. And then I thought Williams, and I made a comment near the end of the game. You mentioned this last night in the postgame show, maybe in the pregame pregame that he's learning new things this year. So he may not yet be totally comfortable with his role on the floor, but showing 17 points tonight I thought was really a positive for him.
Well, I thought a bigger deal for that is actually you look at the other end, and he was getting called on a team that's very physical and trying to get the ball inside against him. We had some things planned to kind of help him with some double teams that we needed to, but he really didn't need them. You know, he held them down. They didn't score on him, and he had to have a bunch of rebounds. I mean, you know, things like that for his size right now, what he's pulling off is outstanding. I was also encouraged because I thought we got good minutes in the first half from Javon coming in at that 4 spot. You know, Javon's been in the doghouse a little bit because he deserved to be in the doghouse a little bit. And, you know, I think he wants to be out of the doghouse. And it would be good for our team if he was, because he gives us a power forward, you know, they come in with a little bit more strength and size. You know, it's a more traditional power forward, and we're going to need that for minutes on the floor. So I was glad to see him, you know, in the first half give us some quality minutes.
Malinini topped out with 15 points in the ball game. I thought it was another decent effort. When he gets the ball, I think he has one thing he's thinking about, and that's stuff it in the basket. I mean, he really has a sense to the basket. I mean, he does pass the ball inside out, but yeah, when he gets the ball and goes to the basket, he goes with a lot of enthusiasm.
Well, he's you know, he's had a good weekend, man. I mean, you know, he's been in there banging and battling, and you know, we got to get Mike going, you know, to match it. Mala was huge for us. We're not winning tonight, and we wouldn't have pulled away the way we did last night without Mala being the force he was inside. He has given us that guy. You know, he was neutralizing their inside game defensively down there. I mean, he was really doing some good things in the lane, bumping the cutters, getting in positions, banging them off the spots. And then, of course, he gives us 15 big points, and I don't know how many rebounds he had, but, you know, he just gives us the presence that if you're going to be a real team that's going to make a real run, you got to have.
It's kind of like sometimes you see kids in Indiana basketball, they're the big, lanky, you know, thick kids that can really lumber to the basket. And maybe, I don't know if they have a Southern Italian Athletic Conference or not, the SIAC. But, I mean, he's the type of player you see that you really enjoy watching because he's just so physically strong and he stands out on the floor.
Well, he's tough. He's a tough guy. You know, we're trying to get him in condition. You can see he gets a little tired out there. He's playing really hard, and it's a physical thing he's doing. And we got to get some other guys to step up so we don't have to have the burden of the minutes that he had to have tonight, because, you know, he was by far our best option, right? We need somebody that is sitting in there, and Michael can do it, for instance. If not, we'll have to get Omar to do it. And Omar's got the talent. So it's like, you know, how your season unfolds is how does people improve, you know. But Miles, he's been good. There's no fluke to it. He's tough as nails in there and strong, and you know, I don't really know what he was doing on that technical, and I wasn't real happy with that.
I mean, he slammed the ball down on the floor for a station.
I saw it. I mean, but he wasn't saying it to the officials. He just got tired of getting hit all the time, and you know, they finally gave him a call, and he just kind of reactionary. But we'll try to see if we can stop those reactions. But I thought he had a good weekend. I thought Dre had a good weekend of learning the point. I think he's going to learn when he needs to explode, when he needs to be more explosive on his attack. Little timing things. He just hadn't done them in forever. But, you know, he's doing a good job, obviously. It's why we were able to beat a quality opponent tonight. You know, you just go them down the list. We got to get better defending against the ball screens. These guys got to learn how to really fight the screens better. But that's just part of it. And we haven't spent as much time as we probably should in those areas. But we will. But I thought it was a good weekend for us. We'll see how good it is, how we respond to it, but I thought it was a good weekend.
Okay, in closing, last question or comment, this was the first 2 of 5 games in 8 days. So, I mean, the challenge to start the season, I mean, Division I schools don't play 5 games in the first 8 days of the season. So we've got by the first 2 wins, but we've got Macomb and then Kennedy King and Harcum next weekend. So really no let-up as far as what you go through in practice or preparation, because we got to be ready to play.
Well, you know, one of the problems is you don't get as much preparation when you're in that situation because, you know, we got to be mindful, you know, when we go to practice. And usually we'll have Sunday off. We're going to come in and practice tomorrow afternoon, but basically tomorrow we're just going to break a sweat to get the lactic acid out of us and then go in and get a little bit of a light lift because we haven't had one. So that'll help to be, you know, we'll be back more responsive Monday when we got to get turned around and for that Tuesday game. And for anybody that doesn't know, Macomb's really good. That's a really good basketball team. And, you know, you talk about trap games. That's an ultimate trap game after having to come through this weekend. play 2 physical games. You know, I think obviously you come into the night and you find out that the Volunteer State game was more intense and more physical than you think it was. We just made it look a little easier, right? It's not that it is. And then you got to come today and play, you know, a top 25 type of team who is totally jacked up to, you know, take you on. And, you know, now you got to turn around and play Tuesday against a quality opponent who hasn't done that, right? They haven't done that. So it's hopefully we get some people out here on Tuesday and help us out. But and then next weekend you turn around Kenny King on Friday, and then Harcum, who we all know them, and Monroe are always the 2 best teams in the Northeast. So we get to see, you know, us compared to the very best in that region of the country. So we try to put the best schedule possible for the fans, and we try to do it for our team so that our team, you know, has the best chance to get to Hutch, because you got to do those things, and so it can be prepared when that time comes. And I think this first week is an early test to get prepared for something like that. And that was today. We're making quick adjustments after the opponent, and you got to learn on the fly a few things that we're gonna put into place for this basketball game. And I thought we did a pretty good job.
Coach, 2 wins in the book. Congratulations.
Thanks, Dave.
Comments of